My boyfriend booked this place on Airbnb.
I reserved this Airbnb.
What?
Katie, I understand that Baby Boom was one of the films that sort of inspired you here, and I also got some Elaine May vibes off of the movie. What are some of the directors or rom-coms that you drew on in making it?
Definitely like Annie Hall, Manhattan, Husbands and Wives, When Harry Met Sally. I mean, a little bit of Baby Boom just because that's I love Diane Keaton in that. Even Blue Valentine, even though that goes to a much darker place, but the filmmaking of that and the naturalism of that.
Jim, what was it like to work with Katie as a director? What was one of her best pieces of direction to you?
I think she just gives you this incredible space, in between action and cut. There's just a huge amount of space to sort of play and try things and work other things out. And she very rarely shouted cut, actually. You'd think that the scene had ended and she just kind of left it hanging. And I love that she was always sort of searching and looking and just trying to grab these kind of real moments, these little nuggets of authenticity, and we ended up both kind of searching for those in the dialogue and in the moments and in the things that aren't said. And yeah, it was wild. It was great to sort of work with a director that was also my co-star, and so she could really sort of play around with the scene and throw different things at me to get different reactions and, try and sort of turn the scene around or give it a bit of life or, and I really, really, really genuinely enjoyed all that stuff. It was really exciting. You had to sort of come in every morning not knowing what quite to expect.
Katie, I was curious who sang the cover of Blue Moon in the film, and I looked in the credits, and it's your daughter. How did that come about? What was it like directing her in doing that song?
Well, I always want the highest level of talent, so I asked her. She's very talented, and she said she would do it, and she recorded it, and I let her do her thing. That's the way I direct in general. It's like, this is what I think we all want, and then go do your thing.
Will she be doing more singing for your movies now that you've done this one?
She actually did sing on Rare Objects, which is the film we did this fall. Other than that, she's a 16-year-old kid doing high school.
Well, Diane Keaton also covered Blue Moon, so she's in good company that way, I think. That's a nice
Yes, exactly. Diane met my daughter when my daughter was a year old.
Nice circle there. That's good.
Exactly.
Well, speaking of circles, I was amazed to see that it's been 25 years since the ice storm this fall, and that was your first film, obviously. Is there anything you learned from angling on that set that you think you brought to this film? Any lessons that you remember from that shoot? Well,
that shoot was so exciting for me. It was my first job. When I was there, I didn't really understand what was happening, but in looking at the film many times after, it's like Aang's ability to capture worlds is so incredible, and to go from Eat, Drink, Man, Woman to Sense and Sensibility to the ice storm, it's very inspiring, and you can do it. And he really, I think he's such a poet in the way that where he shoots a scene, the dialogue he uses, and how that tells the story in a very simple way. And I think it's all about finding the simplest way to get your story across.
Jim, you have your own anniversary this fall. It's been 15 years since Across the Universe, which is a musical I really like, and I think it's unfairly underrated. And my favorite scene in that is the bowling alley scene where you do I've just seen a face. What do you remember about filming that moment? Is that do you have a good memories of that shoot in general?
I remember being pretty sore after that. It's the sequence, yeah. And they actually never told us that they were going to use all the outtakes, genuinely, because I think they didn't want us to sort of purposely fall over or it would look fake in some way. So we really did try and learn how to slide down these bowling alleys, and everyone was genuinely falling because they were greased up, and and then when you watch the movie, it's they were only interested in the falling down parts, you know what I mean? And we were all trying our best to sort of stay up, Yeah, I have great memories of making that film, and I always will. It's been a big part of my sort of journey, and I'm bound by that experience to all the rest of the cast in that film. We still keep in touch, and it was a special thing for all of us.
Katie, would you direct Jim in a musical? Is that something you do one day, do you think?
Absolutely, I would be honored.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
I love it. And a Blue Moon cover again, just to really bring it home.
Exactly.
Yeah, me and Suri in a movie. There you go.